Quick heads up, this episode has films from 1912 and 1940, so we end up talking about World War II propaganda, contemporary war crimes, sexual violence, and some pretty slapstick portrayals of spousal abuse. No real good timecode to skip the contentious stuff in this one, so if it makes you uncomfortable, probably just skip the entire episode. Hello and welcome to Bangs and Trash, the podcast where we choose the best and worst movies on Letterboxd of a given year to watch and then discuss and then talk about with our first quadruple feature episode. To get it right out of the way, I should ask Nathan, is this your first Nazi propaganda film that you've ever watched? Because I feel like it might not be.
What a powerful question. I believe it is, at least like contemporary to the Nazi Party. I've seen some of, the current Republican Party's like media.
Yes. Yeah. But in terms of like 1940s,
yeah, like
stuff,
made by the actual Nazis, like promoted heavily by Goebbels. This would be the first one I've watched in its entirety.
The first one, wow.
Yeah,
because we grew up in a very specific like time and place. We are both 4chan babies. We grew up with some really atrocious people in our formative years that we've thankfully removed ourselves from.
The post 4chan lefty is a very particular breed of online guy.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I mean,
we rolled into 1912. The movies there were not long enough, so we rolled again. Rolled into 1940. We're going to start with 1940's worst film, which is Judd Seuss, Nazi propaganda, and probably go for like ascending quality. I think is the vibe.
That's definitely at the bottom. So, what did you think? Do you have to give it to him? Do you think the Nazis pulled it off?
Okay, so this is literally the first thing I wanted to talk about, or like the most important thing I wanted to talk about with this, because I think everyone's seen the troll tweet at some point of like, you do not have to give it to ISIS, right?
Yeah.
And when you look through reviews for Judd Seuss, which I did a bit of, before and after watching it, you'll see some people who say like, oh, regardless of the politics, the film really X, Y, Z, whatever else, the same kind of dog whistle kind of dialogue of like, oh, but the Nazis looked really good, you gotta give it to them.
He made the Autobahns work and all that shit, right?
Yeah. And so like I'm going in, I know that I'm not going to become a Nazi within the next, let's say, at least 15 years. Give me a bit of grace. I might become old and cranky, right?
You just watch this one movie, like, maybe those guys have a point.
What I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah. When you present the Jews as irrepressibly evil, then suddenly
weird, right? Like but like I know I'm not going to be impacted, and I know that my politics are like pretty set at this point in my life. So I think, okay, if we look at it as an objective work, I'm not going to say piece of art because that's its own discussion, but you're looking at an objective work, is it good enough that someone who doesn't have political thoughts could be like tricked into it, right? Could they give it to them? And I have to report back, if you're saying on Letterboxd, oh, but it's actually really good though, you're either stupid, a Nazi, or a stupid Nazi, and it's probably...
yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to be the Nazi without being a stupid Nazi. But okay,
yes,
I had this
but like,
I
mean, stupid for a Nazi.
Yeah.
Is,
Because I was watching it and thinking, it's just not good. I mean, like, if I was full of hate and a smaller man, I don't think I would still even enjoy it. Like, I would just watch something more macho, like more classically, like high machismo. You know, there are movies out there that you can watch and not understand they're lampooning you, right? Go watch American Psycho and misunderstand it instead. Like, that's a better idea. Don't watch this, because it's just... Again, the politics aside, which you shouldn't treat it politics aside, the politics are the piece. But it's still just dog water even without that.
Now, I'm not like a fascist art historian because I'm not a historian and I'm not fucking insufferable, right? So I don't have like a huge amount of knowledge on fascist art. But my understanding of it generally is they put a very high importance on the idea of depicting objective realism, right?
Yeah.
Like subjectiveness and arty stuff, right? And looking at reality through a lens of like emotion is not regarded well by fascist art. It is like, is it an objective truth kind of thing?
They are very much the curtains are blue. And why are they blue?
Yes.
And because they were painted blue or they were dyed blue. there is no reason something in the film could be depicting anything like subtextual, and I think the subtext is definitely there's not a single piece of subtext in this movie.
Oh no, very straightforward. But like I think you can kind of roughly see that in that the only thing that is like, oh, this isn't atrocious depiction wise is like some of the costuming, whereas a layman, as someone who doesn't know, the 1700s, that's roughly when it was set. I don't know 1700s Germany. I don't know, the culture, the costume, whatever else. But like I look at these people and I think, oh, a royal would probably wear that, or like a serf would probably wear something like that. But when you get into the fundamental basics of performing the art, they do not have a fucking clue what they are doing.
It's so interesting because I mean, part of me with the Nazi ideology, right? Like that beauty is good, and if you are beautiful, you are good. That's a big fascist thing, right? I mean, Rowling puts it in all of her books. So you look at Sus, and he's dripped the fuck out for like most of the movie, and then right at the end when he's in his trial and they're gonna hang him for being a Jew, he suddenly is wearing the same outfit but disheveled and ragged, and it's like, look, the true man, and you're just like, guys, he just hasn't shaved. Like
Yeah.
that's it's such a strange move, and you can tell they're trying to do it. I mean, they have all of the Jews in the film look dirty. They're all like hunchbacked, apart from Sus. They're all like scraggly and disheveled. And one of the weird ones is, and obviously I think this makes sense, right? But you have to look at this movie where they assume the audience already doesn't like Jews. Because there are
Yes,
moments that
definitely.
you can see are being presented as like villainous, and it's just sort of like in a synagogue and they're singing. And I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't hate Jews, so this is just a bunch of people doing religious chanting. I mean, I know Catholics. Like they do similar, like it's not sinister, it's just kind of like high religion. And that's just what
Yeah,
that looks
if you
like.
do not already have the hatred in you, because as well, like they have a lot of depictions of there's violence, there's sexual assault, there's there are essentially the story is like a Jewish man kind of intercepts his way into the royalties and he takes over control in a sort of vizier type fashion. They say based on historical facts. I didn't really look into it. I'm not going to give them the fucking decency, but like the actual depiction of the violence and sexual assault and like the persecution of the Germans is really tame
Yeah.
because it assumes that you already hate the person doing it.
Well, I noticed this because one of the big things is like you have this kind of underdog story with the rebels as they're turning on the Duke for the Duke allowing the Jews in and working with the Jewish financial advisor, Sus himself. And every time they were having these big meetings, like, oh, the Duke is turning on us. In my head, I'm like, okay, but fundamentally, your issue is that there are Jews in the town. So
Yeah.
I'm finding it really hard to sympathize with the rebels from kind of first principles because it's not that they're getting trampled or that they're getting attacked. It's just that there are now Jews living in Stuttgart, and
Mm.
oh no, that's like their
And even
main
as
problem.
like an underdog narrative, because that is a big part of it. Like you watch a sports film or a war movie or something that has an underdog narrative, and there is an underdog, and the underdog in this film, they are all like the people with a second or highest position in the social
Yeah, they're
ladder.
council members.
They're council members. They're like they are officials. They are well dressed. They have large houses. They have sweeping marriages and costumes, and like they're getting invited to dinner parties. It's like you're not an underdog. You're just a fucking weirdo racist, dude. I hate to say it. I don't hate to say it.
Sorry, it's a schism between the big government and like the slightly less big government. Like it's really hard to present it. Also, so one thing actually about the schism and the underdog thing, and I noticed this, I feel like maybe this is a strong Nazi brain rot thing. They
Hmm.
dwell on why Sus is evil a lot, right? They keep showing him as this sniveling vizier type figure who's twisting the ideas of the Duke and making him believe things like maybe Jews should be allowed in the city. And they really dwell on this. Very rarely do they actually let you sit with the quote unquote heroic figures. It's almost a given,
Yeah.
right? Like it's only the villainy that is worth showing because you just have to side with the other guys against this. And it made me have just I couldn't even begin to have sympathies for the, again, quote unquote heroes, because they're just not characters. They are like an opposition to this like debonair antagonistic Jewish guy. And he gets so much camera time and he's so charismatic that, like, I think if you didn't understand what this is trying to do, for the first 2/3 of the movie, you'd probably just like the guy.
The weirdest thing as well is that like this is a big part of fascist ideology. The idea that your enemy is both weak and strong. It's a very like simple idea
Yeah.
where you panic about them taking over your country and like replacing your people and killing you, whatever else. But they are all sniveling little weakos who you can easily kill. So don't worry about them. Except when you do worry about them, big hypocritical thinking. But they get that across by having you spend time with Sus and the Duke, who is being influenced by Sus. But what this ends up doing is like 70% of the movie, it just spent with the person who is supposed to be antagonistic and someone who is a weak, sniveling moron who does whatever the antagonist wants. So it makes the German nobility seem like sniveling morons who are really easy to deceive. Like, Sus is not a good vizier, like complicated plan type character. He says some real basic shit, really on the nose, like, I'm an evil depiction of a terrible person, and the Duke is like, oh, good idea. Yeah, I could definitely go along with that. He
Yeah.
seems like a fucking moron, which is obviously what they're setting up. So when you have the ending where they overthrow the Duke, they seem heroic. But it's like, well, how did you not get this handled in the first 5 minutes if that's what you want to stop happening,
It does
right?
seem like that Duke could have been tricked by a paper boy who said, "Sir, the paper costs 10
Yes.
thalers today. Like, you need to pay me slightly more." They really did present this
Exactly,
like
right?
moron of a character.
And it just makes you think, like, how in this fictionalized depiction of reality do you feel comfortable even saying this guy got into power? Because he is near the point of like non-functional human. He is that stupid.
Yeah, I really don't know what they're going for. I mean, so the final like shot of the movie is obviously a big call to action, right? So from the film directly to the German audience, says, don't let the Jews in the town for the sake of our children and our great grandchildren. And I mean, effectively, the character winks at the camera and goes, "And you're the great grandchildren, Germans."
Yeah.
Not particularly subtle. Again, they're not great at the subtext. So their idea is sort of, I guess, that maybe the German people are weak and a single clever guy could con them. But it felt less like anti-Jewish propaganda done well and more like the monorail episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Very strange.
When you were talking about it just now, I was thinking of, we've talked about this before, the Harry Potter play, The Cursed Child, where you've got the Cedric Diggory character, right? You know what I mean,
Yeah.
right?
Cedric Diggory,
For those
it's
of
a
you
terrible
who
life.
Yeah. For those of you who don't really know, like, Harry Potter, we're not really too up on it, basically. There's a character called Cedric Diggory who, spoiler warning, dies in one of the books. And The Cursed Child is a play where they go back in time to try and fix that. In doing so, something happens. He has one bad day, becomes an awful fascist dictator, and, like, ruins everything, right? Whereas, like, the depiction of your just perfect natural society that you think is great and you think should proliferate is so weak and so shoddy. And it's like, how do you think this way where you're able to present what you're proud of in a way that is so embarrassing?
I think that's the big thing, right? It's the Nazi propaganda is, look how weak and stupid the Germans are. A single fast talker could swindle us out of everything. So we need to
Yeah.
kill them all now with guns.
Yeah, because otherwise they will be smarter than us and overtake us because we're fucking dumb morons who can't do even the most basic of tasks.
It's so strange. You have to wonder. I mean, obviously, like a lot of fascism, baseline is insecure bullies, right? I mean, not to put like a
Yes.
really simple point to quite a grandiose problem, but they are just weak, sniveling little like bastards who are just scared of everything and need to be empowered against the things they're scared of. In this case, they're scared of, again, the monorail guy from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing else to him. He's just a guy who says, "Oh, Stuttgart would be good. Oh, we could take Stuttgart. How do we take Stuttgart, sus? Oh, everyone's a fucking idiot." He's like, "Oh, yeah, good point. We'll give him 50,000 and we'll call it good." And it's like, you can't really be even mad at the the Jews as depicted, because they're just, if anything, winning in a way that seems almost deserved, because they're just saying, well, these guys hate us, but they're also stupid.
There's only like three Jewish characters. You got Sus, you got Sus's little like sidekick who is an even more like nebbish depiction of a Jewish guy, and you got the rabbi who is reasonable up until the point where he goes like, "You should learn your place in society, Sus. Don't try anything ever because you'll get killed and deserve it." So like the depiction of the enemy they're trying to portray is not complete, right? You've got like a single caricature that is the thing that stops your proud, Ubermensch race from managing to succeed. It's like how did you lose against these guys? Like if that's what you're trying to depict, like I don't get it, man. It's so baffling and so baffling to see people in the reviews being like, oh, it's actually a really shocking piece of propaganda that really is saying something. It's saying nothing. It's saying like that you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I do genuinely think if you have any level of enjoyment from this film, even if you think it's purely because of the like cinematography, you are just like a fascist. Like you're an idiot. Like you have to be really dumb to really take anything from this movie that actually matters. Because again, like all they do is show Jewish people as looking kind of scruffy, and they point at them and go evil, and you're like, well, I don't think Jews are evil, so this hasn't really worked on me. And it's like, what about Sus? I'm like, I mean, he seems kind of sketchy, but he hasn't got a label that says I represent all of Judaism.
Yeah, and like we know sketchy people in real life, and like we've seen sketchy people doing sketchy shit IRL. You're not depicting Sus in a way that makes me think like, oh, this is definitely like a landmark person who is I don't know.
It has the vibe
It's
of
bad. It's boring. It's very long.
yeah, it's you go into a shop and some English person takes something you were going to buy before you got to it, and you kind of rue perfidious Albion. It's like, no, that's just someone got the orange before you could pick it up. It's one person. You haven't presented a particularly well-rounded idea of these people. And now, admittedly, difficult to do that because the well-rounded idea of these people would show them as people, and they can't be doing that.
Yes, that is the big complication, isn't it? They are
Yeah.
not coming at it from a perspective of intellectual honesty. They're coming at it from we really hate Jews. Uh, what can you do?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Nazi shit. We didn't expect it to be any good, but
So one thing, actually, speaking about it being Nazi shit and not expecting it to be any good,
yeah,
I found this very fun to watch alongside movies from 1912, because I won't get into them directly yet, but and also to compare this to It Happened One Night and The Great Dictator.
Mm.
Why are the tools of cinema that the Nazi party, because Goebbels produced this or helped produce this, why
Yeah.
are they using like just the shittest cameras?
So one part, not to hand it to them, I will say this much. It Happened One Night is the first ever. It won every single Oscar, and The Great Dictator is The Great Dictator.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
got cleanup restoration works, whatever else. No one is doing a restoration work on this beyond we need to preserve it for historical relevancy. What I will say to unhand it to them, I've given it to them, now I'm taking it back. Basic principles of filmmaking are not understood in this. Simple concept, right? Establishing shot. You show a place, you have maybe some people talking, you zoom in, you establish who is in the scene, or you cut to a scene, you establish the actors currently in the scene, then you go, right? So within seconds, the audience knows these are the players. If anyone starts talking, I know they're here. I don't need to be confused. You can subvert that, obviously, but that is, an artistic choice. This is a fascist film, it's not doing artistic choices. So when you have a scene that just starts, no establishing shot, and I can't give an example because I watched this a week ago and there's so many examples, but scene starts, character A talks in shot, reverse shot, character B talks, shot, reverse shot, normal movie. Character C enters. Where the fuck did they come from? No one is acting like they're a new person in the scene. Have they been here all along? I have to assume they have been here all along, but that wasn't established. So, 70 seconds into your scene, a new character starts talking, and I'm like, oh, who the fuck is this one now? Because they weren't here before, and I have to reorient my brain in the middle of the scene, which is just two people talking, because now that's only three people talking. Removing the mechanisms and the shit that film preservation is there to serve. The basic I'm making a film does not get done here. They don't know what they're doing.
Well, again, it's because they're trying to depict not like cinema, but reality. Like they think it's oh well, these three characters are talking. They're just going to talk. Point the camera at them. It's very like childish is the way I think I would describe a lot of the way the
Yeah.
compositions are. One thing actually, so not to hand it to them, but I'm like, I wonder if this is deliberate. I can't tell. Maybe I'm giving them more credit. Maybe they did mean it deliberately. The bit with the Jewish like little religious ceremony where they're all singing, and it's clearly trying to depict their singing as discordant and weird and unsettling. Again, that's just people chanting. That always sounds a bit ominous. That's just kind of how that does. That is immediately, and I mean immediately, like whiplash levels of cut to the small, like the young German girl singing in her room, playing piano or something.
Mm.
And I think they're trying to present here's the evil Jews, and they're really spooky, and look, aren't they chanting? Isn't that scary? And then, boom, girl who hates Jews. Oh, isn't she pretty? Isn't she singing very good? She's not singing very good, and I'm pretty sure the piano is out of tune. But they don't know that shit. It's all aesthetics. But maybe that was intentional. Maybe.
I don't know, because if it's the same scene, I haven't written much about this movie, because why would I? I've written down one specific scene with a time code, where I think it's the same thing, where she's in a room, she's playing piano, she's singing, there is a big swell of music that builds to a big dramatic moment, and you're expecting, because you're an hour and 15 into the movie, and it's a movie, and you've seen movies before, that when the music swells, you'll cut to something else, and the music swells, and she just cries a bit more. You build to a denouement that does not happen. So like the emotional heartstring pulling, the most basic of like we're using music to enhance our story. Like it's just not there, man.
It's really funny. I do like how that character is used, not the way they use it, but I enjoy what they're trying to do because they're just flailing around. There's a point, same girl,
Desperately trying to make her seem so innocent so that when she gets raped and killed, you're like, oh no.
yeah. But there's a point earlier on, and I think it's her. I can't remember. It might have been. I think it was.
I think she's the only woman with like a notable talking role.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it probably is her if you're thinking of.
So there's a point where there's a blacksmith, and this is like just after Sus has kind of wormed his way in, and he tells the Duke, "Give me the roads. I'll take the taxes. You can take the tolls, or vice versa. One of the two." Basically, he says, "I'm Jewish and love money. Here's how you can have some money. I would also like some money." Again, not a particularly well-rounded view of Jewish people. Either way, he gets the roads, and there's a blacksmith's house on one of the roads, which is strange. I'm not really sure how the setup works there, but I guess 1700s Germany, who knows? Anyway, he has a back and forth with the blacksmith and says, well, your house that's on the road must belong to me, at least the part of it on the road. And the blacksmith is kind of a, what? And back and forth, and eventually the culmination of this is that he has the house torn down, but only where it's over the road. You see the blacksmith.
It is like a Looney Tunes
of
depiction where it's like you've literally sliced the house in half and the blacksmith is still standing where his room would be.
Yeah, and he's tinging away on his anvil. But, so the kicker for this is as they're...
back, dude.
as they're coming up to it. And it's Sus and the woman. And she is like, oh, how very funny, like a toy house. Oh, Sus, you're so clever and so evil. And he just smiles, and that's the scene. It's like...
Yeah, like, I'm watching now, like, what are you even trying to do? Because now you've got... Because, yeah, I think she was... I don't think she was the main female character, but I think she was, like, a German woman. So, again, you're just depicting, like... You know, fascism, it's going to tie in with a lot of religion, it's going to tie in with divine right of kings, it's going to tie in with, like, we believe the royalty are good because they are the royalty. You've got a member of the royalty being the stupidest fucking person possible. It's like...
It's a good thing God was on his side, right? He needed someone in his corner. Just a strange set of images and sounds.
Yeah.
If this is the best they've got, no wonder they lost.
I was wondering, like, because in the time that it took us to finish last episode and get to recording this one, a different Nazi propaganda film took the spot as the worst of 1940. I know there's gonna be a lot of them, but like the one that came up, it was like the Wandering Jew or something. It's a one that I've heard of, and I wonder if notoriety is going to result in a objective, better quality film. Still, the mentality is poison, it's cursed, but in terms of making a film that can be watched by a human being, is it going to be a more presentable work?
It might be. I
Probably
do
not,
think, yeah,
right?
like I really do genuinely believe that like fascism just can't create compelling art. Like it's just soul rot in a horrible way. Like there are bad people who make good art, right? That happens.
Yeah.
But I think when you're trying to make fascist art, it's going to be bad from first principles. It's a very strange thing.
I think there has to be an example somewhere of like a fascist director with fascist first mentality who makes something that is, I don't want to say like good, but in a world where you are someone who is not politically aware at all, you could watch it and be like, oh, that was a complete narrative that made sense and, told a story that I could understand. Because, like you said, yeah, if this is their best, Jesus Christ, man, it's just fucking dog shit.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is like sort of trying to build a mythology and things like that. So they struggle with creating just kind of a nice narrative or anything about that. Because again, the fascist problems are all of their beliefs are kind of wrapped around, again, like you said, the infinitely weak yet infinitely dangerous enemy, the grand self mythology, the our nation was meant to be, and because it is good, the people are good, and therefore we will succeed, and we are the best, and everything we do is good. Like there are fascist trappings in good movies. A lot of like might makes right, even classic hero like heroic movies. Not to get us immediately attacked by like redditors, but you can see fascism in like the MCU, right? It's
Oh,
all
definitely.
there.
Well, that's a
It's
big criticism of them with their military attachment anyway, right? Like that's very explicit.
yeah, but even beyond the military stuff, I mean, like yeah, like one singular character. I mean, like Iron Man conceptually is a little sketchy. It's that kind of thing.
Very libertarian fantasy.
Yeah, but again, that kind of thing. A singular powerful hero who can turn the tide and is worth building the country around. That's kind of fascist, but again, you need to temper it with other things because otherwise you just end up making this shit.
Yeah.
Very odd.
Yeah, like at least like, America's got its own problems and Marvel stuff has its own problems, but like at least Captain America as a film is like there's a good couple punches thrown, and you're like, oh yeah, I can watch that.
Yeah.
Right.
They need like a Nazi John Wick. Because that lets you do
Oh
all the
man.
stuff and it might work, right? Because
There's gotta be something like that.
it's hard because the enemies need to be so much more. Like, one of the things that makes John Wick so fun is that it's John Wick. Like, he's just actually all powerful. Like, he's a god, basically. And you're just watching him more through, like, goons, right? And it's fun because it's cool. Charismatic character, fun setting, really good, like, action choreography. It would be hard to make it fascist directly because his enemies would need to be fascist enemies, which is hard to present that way. It's better when it's kind of
Just
mafioso style goons.
a sea of like blue-haired feminists
Yeah,
having
exactly. Like
fist
that's
fights with the jawline uber Chad guy.
yeah, like that's like the only thing I could think of them trying to do. Fucking John Wick for incels.
Okay, hold on. We need to get the critical drinker on the line, dude. Like, there's an idea here. We can pitch it to him.
Flash Gets is
I bet
already
you people
animating
would
it, dude.
like our fucking. People would like our fascist movie more than his absolute dog shit, if we
I could
tried, we
make a
could do
better
it.
fascist movie than an actual fascist. That's the first Kickstarter. Jack and Nathan make fascism.
Gotta make it
We'll do a
palatable.
Hitler biopic, but Hitler's John Wick.
Yeah, oh, dude.
Holy shit.
Alright, yeah, what's the name of this movie? Judsus. Total
Just
dog
sus.
shit. Wouldn't recommend.
Don't watch
Nazi
it.
movie. If you like it, you're probably a Nazi. Reevaluate your life.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, I'm probably gonna cut that one
yeah.
out.
We said something very funny, but it can't be aired, just in case we do get a sponsor.
Yeah, it's a call to action that should not be visible.
Redacted.
Okay, well, yeah. Moving on in the quality scale.
Yeah.
We have 1912's worst film, which is called Making of an American Citizen.
I
Making an
think it's
American
Making
Citizen.
an
One
American
of them.
Citizen. I found it as both names.
Yes, it was both names. Directed by Alice Guy Blaché. I don't know. She's French. She was known as the first female French director. We will be seeing her again,
Oh, really?
assuming we keep on. 1906. She is in the best film 1906 with a short film called The Consequences of Feminism, which sounds suspect. She's actually very feminist, and I
Okay,
think
good.
this film does get that across.
Yeah, you kind of going in one of two directions there. Is this like Unabomber or is this?
Yeah, no. But like so this is definitely the best of the worst films we've seen. It's a very
Yeah.
brief little 15 minutes. I think the biggest issue with it is it's a silent film where about 60% of the scenes are people talking.
It is probably
There's not many cut-ins.
the most dialogue focused silent film I've ever seen.
Like there's a lot of just people talking, and they're doing the heavy gesticulation in the way that you expect in a silent film, but not enough to get across what exactly is happening. The broad strokes, there's one scene in this movie repeated essentially, where you have, what is it, Ivan Orlov was his name?
Yes,
Like
Ivan.
a Russian immigrant, I'm assuming? Yeah. Um, Comes to America with his wife, meets some people, they're like, hey, welcome to America. He's like, great, cool, I'm settling in, I'm going to beat my wife. And then an American comes in and goes, don't do that. Don't you beat your wife.
That's the movie. I mean, you've summed it up.
That's it.
Well, actually, you
happens
forget
3 times.
the part where it's don't do that, don't you beat your wife, and then they beat him. That's the joke. That's always the joke.
Yes, always. He's like, I'm gonna beat my wife, and they're like, no, you're not. And then just like a bunch of like fucking dudes from nowhere just walk in and start beating the shit out of Ivan Orlov.
Yeah, it's really funny. I love this idea that the American way is that very specifically hinges on that you're not allowed to beat your wife. It's a very particular view of America. I'm not sure it's a super accurate view of America at the time, but
I wonder how much of it is sarcastic, because the ending really recontextualized it for me. Because Ivan's been nearly beating his wife all this time, and then eventually he gets brought in front of a judge who sentences him to, indentured servitude for a bit as punishment for beating his wife. You have a section where it goes like, Ivan begins to profit in the little text interlude, right, after
Yeah.
being sentenced. Hard cut to him in a chain gang working, rocks,
Breaking
just
up
like picking
rocks.
up coal. Hard cut to the words completely Americanized.
That is very funny. I genuinely that got me. That was
Just it's like I don't know what you're actually trying to say, Alice. But I think I like it.
I think completely Americanized is going to enter as like a verbal tick for me. That was really funny. Well, the second I see anyone in like a bad situation that they brought upon themselves, my brain just
Completely
says completely Americanized. Really
yeah,
good
I mean,
joke.
like I tried to look into it a little bit, couldn't find a lot of stuff. Alice, the director, Alice Guy Brachet, however you say it, she was insanely prolific. She made over 1,000 short
Oh, wow.
films. Only 170-ish survived, which mostly I think you can find on YouTube. I think it's like multiple of them are either going to be the best or the worst, so we're going to be seeing quite a lot of her as we go through the years.
Okay.
But this does seem to be one of the lesser ones on her filmography. I've got like 5 separate notes, and one of them is just this guy's getting his ass beat. Like, it's a very simple movie.
I mean, effectively, it is to run by it scene by scene. They arrive in America. They're walking off the pier. He has his wife with the bag, and then she puts the bag down to rest, and then he goes, "Don't you do that," and then beats her for a bit. And a guy turns up, and then reverso, right? He beats him and then hands him the bag and gives the wife the stick. That's the movie. That's what every scene is, and then at the end, it's like,
Yeah.
hey, look, he's good now.
Yeah, and he is a very like nice, loyal husband who is like suddenly very nice to her.
He's been completely Americanized.
Yeah, I guess however much time in a chain gang will really make you respect women.
They should do that to the incels, to be fair.
Mate, we've
Give them
got a
some
whole
exercise.
series of people who need to get put in a chain gang if you've been watching the news recently.
They do need to be put in a chain gang, though.
There's not many women respecters on the fucking Supreme Court nowadays.
Yeah. They need to be Americanized. If only.
They do.
It's an interesting one. So I was thinking about this. Actually, this point might be better once we've gone over the Cameraman's Revenge. So
Yeah.
let's have a quick look at that. What do
I
you
was
think about
going
the
to bait you
Beatles?
because I was going to say if we're going up in the quality, the next film we need to watch is The Great Dictator.
Oh wow, subversive.
I've said it. I've said it.
The Beatle movie was pretty good. Let's go to the Great Dictator. Let's long shot.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think?
I just don't think movies should be this political. You know what I'm
Charlie Chaplin, too woke.
saying?
He was investigated by the FBI for being too woke.
Oh, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah. He seems cool as hell, to be
Yeah,
honest.
so here's okay. I have very complicated thoughts on The Great Dictator because obviously much better politics than the first movie. Politics, I think I could probably generally still agree with today on the broad scope. The monologue at the end really does say it all. The first 20 minutes, like I didn't know this was mainly a comedy. I thought it was mainly a drama. I thought he was like a breakout drama role.
Oh, really?
So when you got the first 20 minutes and it's like a lot of slapstick and puppets, and you got the big gun howitzer mechanism they got, I'm like, I'm loving this. I think this is great. I'm having a really good time. And then you get to the first scene where he's playing the Hitler character, Hinkle.
Hinkle, yes.
And after like 5 minutes of him ranting and just making like saying pasta names instead of speaking German, and that's the joke. I'm like, oh mate, this is just, it's so tame humor-wise. Like, please don't be this. And it is a lot of just that.
So
really tame depictions of the worst event in human history.
now, to be fair, I was saying to hand it to Chaplin, but I feel like you're allowed to hand it to Chaplin.
Yeah.
I do think lambasting the Nazis by presenting them as like goofy idiots is actually far more devastating to like the Nazi psyche.
So yeah, this is part of the complication, right? Where like I was looking into it as well. Apparently Hitler watched this a lot. He panicked about it a lot. You should treat Nazis like they are morons because they are. But like at the same time, the first time a Nazi seriously hurts or kills anyone is about an hour and 40 into the movie.
Yeah, when the guy gets shot.
And it's a movie about World War II, and it just feels like it's not like funny enough.
I could see wanting,
and it is not rough enough. You know?
Yeah, I could see wanting more bite. Like, it's actually kind of funny because I had a very weird, almost opposite reaction to you, where the very start, I mean, there's the point where they're manning the howitzer and it fires a shell, and the shell drops out of the end, and the Chaplin character, the barber, who
Chaplin plays two characters. He plays
Yes.
a Jewish barber and the Hitler figure.
Yeah. Right. Any likenesses to real people are purely coincidental.
True, that's true.
Yeah. Also, you're not supposed to think it's the same guy playing. That title card actually did get me. I thought it was very funny. But
that was funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's good stuff in here. I just think on a whole it kind of falters.
the point where the shell drops out of the anti-air gun or the artillery piece even, and Chaplin runs around the shell as it focuses on him. I'm like, oh god, is this going to be like less funny Looney Tunes? Am I in for a long ride?
It's very Looney Tunes.
I mean, I think generally between anytime we're watching these older movies, especially the good ones, I'm getting a much better cultural appreciation for Bugs Bunny because like, you can see where it's all coming
from,
from.
right?
Yeah,
like so much Bugs Bunny lore being established, even in Making America, not Making the fucking bug one, Cameron's Revenge.
Yeah,
I
the
see
frog.
like a lot of Looney Tunes in that.
Yeah, but like that point where he's running around the bomb, I'm like, this isn't very funny. When he gets in the plane with the man who becomes one of the higher SS men,
Yes, yeah.
that was very like Airplane to me. Ironically, like I thought that was a pretty funny
Airplane,
set
Monty
of scenes.
Python,
Yeah,
a bit Team America with the little puppets, where
yeah.
the camera pans out and you've got a toy plane with little shitty puppets of Chaplin
The
and the
bits
other guy. It's like,
the plane's upside down and Chaplin's undone his seatbelt because he's like really stuffy and he realizes they're upside down. And he's holding like the flight control stick, and the guy says, "Give me that a moment." He's like, "Can't do." And I was like, "That's a very great joke." And then just so when the plane does crash, and I have in my notes that sudden loud noises are always funny. That is a timeless
always,
like truth about
always funny.
humanity.
Yeah, I was gonna say like sudden loud speech, like a scream, not funny. Like machinery collapsing on 2 tons of weight upon itself, really funny.
It's always funny. But yeah, he crashes. The barber is comatose for a while, and then you kind of cut to modern, quote unquote Nazi Germany, which he wasn't aware of. I will say, I actually I did enjoy the Hinkle
Okay,
character.
yeah, I want to bring that up.
But yeah, go for that.
So like when we had 5 minutes of Hinkle, it's a really strange thing to take in because like you have the joke where Hinkle says a 2 minutes of dialogue, and then a translator says like Hinkle said this, and you go, oh, that's funny. And then Hinkle says 2 sentences, and the translator goes like Hinkle said, it's okay, that's the joke. It keeps on doing it, and I was like, let me just double check something quickly. Just go on the movie still running, go onto Wikipedia, just skim some stuff to get a feel for it. Chaplin said in his autobiography in the 60s he was not aware of the full atrocity of the Holocaust at the time. I'm like,
Ah,
okay, that makes a lot more sense.
yeah, I could see why you just
Because
portray him as a goofy guy.
it feels like Chaplin thought Jews were being kidnapped and jailed. I don't think he thought there was like mass death camps.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean they go to
Like
a
deaths were
concentration camp.
coincidental.
Yeah, and the
They
concentration
do,
camp is
but
more
again,
like a military barracks, right? It's a work camp,
yes,
like an
yeah.
actual work camp.
Like I think Chaplin's perspective on the Holocaust when this movie was being made is that deaths on the street were accidental, and the Nazis were doing what they could to prevent it, to later funnel the Jews out of Germany and like out of Eastern Europe. And then you look at like the death toll, and it makes it really hard to find a lot of the gags funny. There is some stuff when it's not directly dealing with the Holocaust where I can laugh, but I'm seeing, like, oh, these German soldiers are running after the hairdresser and they're getting bonked on the head by a frying pan. Clang! I'm like, oh no. Like, that would kill your entire family, dude. And I know this isn't realism, but it just really
It's
makes it
definitely
hard to laugh
one
at.
with the cultural, like the historical context that gets. It's a little spooky how goofy it's able to be because you think like people were seeing this in the 40s, and a lot of the audiences also didn't know the true scale of the like absolute horror that was going on. So it
Yeah.
is just like, oh, look at these goofy, stupid Germans, like, oh, these jackboot idiots, like, oh, they're putting innocent people in prison. And it's like, no, they're torturing and killing innocent people. It's a little bit worse than that. So that one I
Yeah.
can see. That's definitely a thing that, looking back on it, you could definitely be. Yeah, I understand the discomfort around they're just goofy guys goofing off.
I think part of it as well is I'm occasionally skim through like the best and worst of a given year just to get an idea for what we're gonna go and look at. And you get to 2014, 2015, sorry, 2024, 2025. It's like Palestinian films, right?
Yep.
And I imagine a world where someone makes a screwball comedy about Israel, bombing a hospital full of children. I'm like, fuck me, man. Like, I don't know if I could bear it.
I think that's a good example actually, because that one being much closer and much more aware of it. Yeah, I think I'd be far harder to enjoy the goofy gags. Like with the
Yeah,
Nazis, I mean, as bad as it was also like nearly 100 years ago, and I'm watching this. And yes, the Holocaust is one of the worst things that's ever happened. done by people. Shouldn't say it happened. Very passive voice. One of the worst things people
Yep.
have ever done to other people. And yeah, I mean, it makes it a harder watch, but it's almost, I'm much more detached from that. But yeah, if I saw a like anti-Israel comedy, and I'm like, no, dude, like they're evil, evil. Like you can't, you can't just present them as
Yeah.
goofy guys, like they're killing children, and then saying they're heroes for killing children. It's yeah, I can see the darkness there.
It makes it, yeah, complicated, right? Because there's moments where I get back into it. I think this I'm trying to reframe how I see stuff sometimes because I can be a very strict disliker of things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what I'm gonna say is like at some point I lost my way in the movie and I couldn't find the way back in. Gotta
Mm.
frame it like that, you know? Whereas like I wanna get back into this, but I just can't find the angle and there's moments, scenes and bits and jokes where I'm like, oh, I'm back in, but I can never fully get through that door.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me the big thing really was that like I do have the opinion that the best thing to do to a Nazi is to show them as an idiot. And I think that helps me really appreciate just showing them as like goofy morons. Because I know that they would absolutely hate that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it probably would have been a bit more toothed if they'd known the full extent of what was going on. But I do think just watching it, I'm like, this is the best way to portray them. Just showing them as idiot morons, it's the worst thing for their egos, and that's like all they are.
Yeah, and like I said, apparently Hitler watched this movie over and over and over again, like panicking that this is how his legacy would go down. And if anything is going to come from the Holocaust and Nazi Germany, this is the best thing that should come from it, right? Like we should all look back on, Nazi morons like Nazi morons, but hard to like fully actualize that. But yeah, like but let's talk more about the movie rather than just me saying,
Yeah, I
you
mean
know,
it's good to
hand
understand
wringing.
why something might be difficult, though, right? Because I'm going to recommend it, but it's good for people to go in thinking, okay, if I can't vibe with this because it's not as horrific as it should be, that's like a perfectly valid thought to have, right? It's not all just like,
Yeah,
haha, Chaplin does the funny movements. It is
and
also
not a poorly
Nazis.
made movie in like most regards, right? Like it looks very good, the sound is very good. Chaplin is a really great physical performer, both doing serious and slapstick stuff. None of the other actors are bad. I think his I didn't get a name, the female lead, the romance interest. She's a bit cornball, but I think they were romantically involved in real life, so they've got really good chemistry.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's a lot to love here if you don't get put off by that depiction in the same way that I've been.
Speaking of physicality, I have one thing in my notes. Maybe my favorite of like the physical, not so much gags, more just a routine. And I think it
Is it
is
the
a
globe?
classic, the globe. Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
I've watched that so many times since seeing the movie.
Oh, and you saw the movie like 2 days ago,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but I really enjoy the globe bit. Just a really
Yeah,
nice
that was
routine.
definitely a real highlight. Just as a like Chaplin is a very physical performer, and a lot of the movie does rely on him doing his physicality, and you're used to seeing a lot of it as slapstick. So you have this moment when Hinkle he's been talking to someone about their plans. It's been a while since I watched the movie, like
He's
a
going to
weekish,
rule
so
the
I'm a bit
world,
fuzzy.
is the idea.
That was it. So he takes this globe that he's got set up in his office, which is a large inflatable like beach ball size thing, and it's just I'll say like 2.5 minutes of him, bouncing it around, mostly in sync to music, and it's just this really slow. It's weird, like it almost feels touching until it like pops in his hand. You remember like, oh, he's a fucking Nazi talking about ruling
I
the
think that
world.
was
Like that's a
brilliant.
good gag.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
such a good move to have it just unceremoniously pop at the end. I don't like. Yeah, I thought that was great. I really enjoyed that. I mean, even a lot of the jokes just hit. I think I wasn't expecting it to be as genuinely funny. I didn't think the actual like lines would be as funny. I also
Mm.
didn't know there would be lines. I always thought of Chaplin as a purely silent film guy.
Mm. See, I knew there was the big speech at the end, which I think we'll talk about that at the end because that is
Yeah,
the big moment of the movie. But I knew there was a big speech, so I knew there would be dialogue going in.
yeah, yeah. Because
Wasn't too surprised.
That threw me off at first because I always thought, yeah, he doesn't talk. And then when he's right at the start, when he's a German soldier as the in the World War I, and he doesn't really say anything for a while until he does give a line. I was like, oh, maybe he talks now and then. I didn't realize this was his first like major speaking film.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting. It's it has made me want to go watch his other stuff, especially without the Nazi baggage.
I think I'd be curious, right? Because my context for Charlie Chaplin in general is the mustache, the slapstick, and that Orson Welles really fucking hated him.
Yeah.
Which he also really hated Woody Allen, so he's doing something right, if nothing else. But yeah, I'd be curious to see like other Chaplin stuff because I'm sure I've seen clips here and there, but as a whole, I don't know if I have. I wonder if
Yeah.
we're going to run into any more on this little escapade we're going
I
on.
wouldn't be surprised, right? He's well known for making a lot of good stuff.
But are any of them as large impact as this? Because this is a movie that, you know, everyone knows about, I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like.
Probably not to that level, but we might run into one or two. But
Hmm.
to go back to this then, with the actual like comedy. So on the mocking Nazis is really good. There are so many things in here that are direct attacks on like the way Nazis act. You know, the constant giving and taking away of medals, the like snap decisions, like have him hanged, give him a
Yes.
medal. All that stuff, really fucking funny. I really enjoyed all of that. The Mussolini character, him and
What was his name again? I know he's from the Kingdom of Bacteria, which again, very tame.
yeah.
Very tame.
Well,
And he's also doing his best Tony Soprano impression, that guy.
yes, yeah.
You know, 60 years removed, but he's doing a
The
great James
Italian
Gandolfini.
accent. But I love their like his whole speech. Hinkle's advisor being like, "He's a big man. You're gonna have to outbig him," basically. And it is just the stupidest, like two schoolyard bullies posturing at each other. The part in
Well,
the
it's like we've set up your office so he has to walk over this way, and then the chair is really low, not, and like it is comically low, right? It's like an inch off the ground
yeah
kind of thing, and then we've got a big bust of yourself at his level when he sits on the chair, so he has to look at you or he has to look up at you because there's the bust of yourself, and then somehow fake Mussolini has made his way around the building, just comes in the back, and immediately starts sitting on the desk, and it's just it's very schoolyard, just yeah, back and forth.
yeah really enjoyable. I don't know that whole thing was funny. Again, context of the horrors being committed does dampen it, but it's really hard to kind of promote a pseudo like buddy slash rival comedy between Hitler and Mussolini, but you know, it did work for me.
Yeah, like again, when they're like riffing, when the riffs are good, I vibe with it. They're just these moments where I suddenly realize what I'm watching. I'm like should I be enjoying this? I don't know if I am. Or, like I probably should because it's making fun of Nazis and it's really historically important. But I'm also just not really getting with it. And like I think okay, here's the moment that I got that I think summarized it for me, and it's later on, but in terms of worlds removed, where even the more presentable comedy like doesn't hit for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got Hinkle and fake Mussolini, who's I can't remember his name. They are kind of coming to a head. They've both got their advisors. They're coming to like a conference or a big meeting in a palace to talk about stuff, right? And they go and they start eating food and shouting at one another, and there's a big back and forth. Now, context: I'm a white guy, born and raised in England, haven't travelled too much, a little bit here and there. I'm not like a worldly, right? Sometimes when I want some food, I've got some gochujang in the fridge, I've got some sriracha, red wine vinegar. I make a very like red kind of sharp, spicy sauce that I'll eat with just about anything, right? Tastes nice, it's good, I like it a lot. The culmination of this gag of Hingle and fake Mussolini talking is that they put too much mustard on their food and they panic. They have like a panic attack, breathing. It's too spicy. That's the joke. It's like it just doesn't hit for me because I'm eating stuff that is,
Hey,
way more than that on a daily
English
basis.
mustard kind of dangerous.
It's not that dangerous though, you know.
I put too much on a sausage one time, and I felt like I was gonna die. But you don't want to use too much of that stuff. But yeah, that's maybe not
You
like
definitely don't,
peak
but the
comedy.
way the joke is presented, I'm like, this is so cornball, man. I want to like it,
I think
and it's just
Cornball
not
does sum
there
up a
for
lot of
me.
my issues with the movie because I mean the issues of we are now nearly a century removed, and we just grew up with like much sharper comedy,
Yeah.
right? Like a lot of the gags that are like, look how silly this guy. It is 1940, and I assume people liked like, to lack of a better
Oh,
term,
yeah.
edgy humor. But the humor that was actually put on film doesn't always feel like it maybe has as much of a bite. It's all very tame, right? It's all a little bit more chilled out than the modern stuff.
Yeah. Culturally, it's very different, but I was thinking about like Peep Show, where one of the episode's final gags is that Jeremy has killed his girlfriend's dog and is currently eating it to try and cover for the fact that
Yeah,
he's killed it. It's like
that wouldn't fly in
that's
the
what I
40s.
like.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
I mean, even to look at previous movies, I mean, you look at Maniac, right, with its special title of Sex Maniac, and it again, like maybe just the standards, the bar is a bit higher now for what could really shock or amuse. Because again, I mean, I've likened a lot of these movies to Looney Tunes, but they don't really have even the bite that Bugs Bunny has.
No, because Bugs Bunny he's allowed to be more psychotic, right? Because he's a fictional character, so you can
Yeah,
depict the atrocities that Bugs Bunny does in a way that is funny because
the
he fucks
atrocities of
some
Bug
people up.
Bunny.
He really messes some people up, dude. I've seen those shorts. He's a
Known
nasty guy.
criminal.
Yeah.
He does keep exploding Elmer's rifle in his face, which is actually
We
disastrous.
need more like if there were more I wish the Nazis had been like shooting more guns and they kept on fucking up. That would have been a great bit where I would they would still be doing the like they are doing violence, but you depict them as incompetent and like they can barely fucking aim.
It was the perfect movie for a scene where a Nazi tries to shoot someone and the gun jams, then he looks down the barrel to see why it's jammed and then shoots himself in the face.
And then you cut off to something else and you hear a gunshot in the background. Like
Yeah,
that would have been perfect, right?
it definitely has that vibe, right? That could have fit perfectly fine in the movie. But again, maybe that's just because we're in 2026 and that's just normal comedy now.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about last week, there was the Hays Code stuff that came in terms of what you can and can't show on film, and this is now 6 years into the Hays Code existing rather than
Yeah.
3 months before it existed. So in terms of what you can show, like I don't know if Chaplin would have wanted to have shown a much sterner depiction of Nazism, but he literally would not have been allowed to. So I get it, right? It
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. I think that is kind of the summation, right? I think enjoyable movie. I would say watch it. I think it's really good. But again, the context, if you aren't really vibing with it because you don't find the horrors of World War II Germany to be a fitting backdrop for what is effectively a long Looney Tunes episode,
Yeah.
that works. But you mentioned.
But well, that also brings it to like the end bit, right? Because that is, if you're going to talk about this movie, I feel like you have to talk about the final monologue.
Yeah.
Big series of convoluted events. Hinkle, the dictator, gets removed, and the hairdresser character, who is also played by Chaplin, ends up in his place, kind of trying to fake it as he's escaping from a concentration camp or just a prison, wherever.
I will say,
Um,
actually, as a quick one on that,
yeah, go ahead.
I did find it really funny, and I wasn't expecting them to actually play with the fact that Chaplin is playing both characters. When
Oh, and
the.
that there was a switcheroo?
Yeah, when he turns up at the end and they go, oh, it's Hinkle. And he and the German soldier man who is escaping with, he clocks what's happening, and the barber
Hmm.
doesn't. And they kind of just walk through as the Germans are saying, "Oh, it's Hinkle. This is Hinkle. Get him on the stage and everything." I thought that came out of nowhere for me. I didn't think they were going to do a switcheroo.
Really?
Yeah, just because part of me thought part of the gag was just that like they are two different characters that look different in the fiction of the film.
Mm. I
Was
did wonder at some point, like, is anyone, especially is the guy in the plane from the beginning? Are they going to bring it up? Because like that guy was a immediate,
Oh, he
under
does.
for Hinkle, right?
He does bring it up kind of tangentially, and I thought this was like a
Right.
really funny
Okay.
joke that's easy to miss. So, to context this, later in the film, there is a point where Hinkle and his advisor are talking about having an Aryan nation, and they mention brunettes, and he says, "Oh, perfidious or something. Have them all rounded up and killed." And they're talking about killing all the brunettes and having everybody be blonde and blue-eyed. The two characters having this conversation are
Oh,
brown-eyed brunettes.
brunettes.
Very funny little bit of dialogue. Now, cut back about, I think, half an hour, 45 minutes into the film, where the barber is being rescued by the German soldier who is like the high command of the SS sort of thing. And he goes, "Oh, remember me? You saved me in the war." And the barber goes, "Oh, yes." And he goes, "Funny, I always remembered you as an Aryan." And I feel like that
Right.
"remember
Yeah.
you as an Aryan" line is an implication that, yes, he does look like Hinkle.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
His also line of, "Well, I'm a vegetarian." Stupid
Yeah.
joke, actually very funny.
See that again? I like that. Right. There's moments like that. There's a moment where they've got a volunteer for a suicide mission, so the second command puts a coin in the pudding, but the love interest is like, oh, but what if I put a coin in every pudding? So that, they all have to volunteer, so no one's going to volunteer, we can stop the suicide mission. And the way the scene plays out is everyone finds their coin, passes it on to Chaplin's plate without him realizing. He eats a bunch, starts hiccuping, and there's jingling noises like that. Even as I describe it, that's really funny. There's a lot of good stuff in here, even when I'm like the comedy that's there. When it's good enough to get past my like, oh, I don't really like watching this, and make me laugh and like laugh thinking about it.
Yeah,
There is just enough of the like, oh, feel a bit uncomfortable
complex emotions.
to break it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of the kind of one-liner or punchline jokes genuinely just really funny. Like,
When it's sharp and quick and snappy, I'm having a good time. When it is another of Hinkle's 2 to 5 minute speeches where he says gobbledygook and then goes like ravioli, spaghetti, spaghetti, I'm like, oh mate, this is like fucking atrocious.
yeah. Well, speaking of 2 to 5 minute long dialogues, monologues even.
Yes, yeah. So things culminate at the final scene where the barber gets put up to do a speech as Hinkle, and the second commander's like, you're supposed to be annexing the Jews out of. It's not Germany. There's its made up country name, but it's Germany.
Like Ostovich or something.
And yeah, and he gives a very very like. Is this the most notable like well known monologue in film? I think it has to be, right?
It's got to be up there.
Yeah, it is like a 2 to 5 minute long dialogue, probably even more than 5 minutes. It feels like, um, essentially talking about human decency and treating each other right and dispelling notions of race and creed and class and the importance of love and peace. And it's a really great speech that's performed really well. And the entire time watching it, I'm like, would the barber say that?
Would the
Would the barber?
I think that might be Chaplin at that point. I don't think it's the barber
That
or
is
Hinkle
definitely
anymore.
Chaplin at that
Yeah,
point. Yes,
because it's.
yeah.
I mean, it's a great speech. It's needed then, needed now. Unfortunately, probably hasn't not been needed at any point in the last like 80 years, if not
Yeah,
longer.
hard to pinpoint a place where everything's just been fine and dandy and no one's been suffering.
Well, so that speech, right? I watched that speech, and I'm genuinely a little bit moved by it because it's a good speech. It's very, internationale, very commie adjacent, very good stuff. And all I could think of in the back of my mind was like, crazy how the FBI were like, "This guy's evil, stop him, he's a commie." Like, human decency? What are you talking about? Like, surely
Yeah.
if a man gives that speech and you're against him, you're the bad guy.
You would think that there would be like a moment of realization for the American culture, right? I guess it's more complicated than
Yeah,
that, but like,
it is crazy because I feel like that is the kind of speech where you can show it to someone who is a person who believes themselves to be a good person, but does hold some like horrible beliefs because that's just common, right? And I think it might actually crack a few people. It might make them think, oh, maybe I am the piece of shit sometimes. Obviously, it's not going to stay with them forever, and it's not going to be the one thing that turns them around. But I feel like while you're listening to that speech, it's hard to still be a racist, surely. Like, even just for the duration of the speech.
Yeah. It's a momentary fixer, right? Where like if you allow it to break the boundary of your brain and you have hate in your mind, it will like clear you. It is a detox from, I don't know, repulsive thoughts, and it's so aggressively performed as well. I think that's the thing. You see a lot of politicking nowadays in real politics, some UK, some American stuff as well. This idea of like taking the high road and being polite and not trying to rock the boat too much socially, despite, you know, targeting oppression and like racism and sexism and transphobia and stuff. But this is the kind of speech where he's like sweaty, like hair is kind of, you know, fucked up. He's like angrily shouting. Like that would be a physically, you know, stressful speech to give. And it's like that is the kind of, if you're going to be in a position where you have political power and you want to make change, this is the kind of force you should be attempting to exert just aesthetically.
Yeah, I would imagine if you were sat in the cinema in 1940, and because it's close, right? It's right up into his face.
Yeah.
That would have been powerful to sit through. Because, massive screen, and he's just shouting at you to be a better person. Like, I think it would have been way stronger then. I mean, even now it's powerful. But I could imagine you're sitting there in the cinema, everyone would be shocked silent. And it is a man telling you that everyone is equal and should be treated as such. And we all deserve happiness. Like, it's a really good speech. And again, the FBI were like, Commie, get him. It's obscene. Like, it makes me... The speech makes me happy, but the context of the speech makes me very sad.
Yeah. I was hoping that like we wouldn't have to get fucking heavy for a while, right? But 4 episodes in, we're talking about like,
okay.
why is it?
So in like
why
the
is it
pilot,
shocking to like the idea of being kind?
Yeah, yeah. Why is like not even really radical being good, just being good. But like,
he's not saying like actively go and like help people, give away all your money. He's just saying like be nice, like it's bare minimum. You know, like don't call someone a slur because they look a bit different to you. It's fucking floor level shit, right?
It's honestly absurd. It was really funny because I'm sure we talked about this in the episode 0 where we were talking about like the format and things. The fact that we've rolled into like contemporary film immediately shocked me. The fact that we rolled into Nazi propaganda in like the first 5 episodes. Like, what are the fucking odds? Like, I was expecting this to be funny.
Yeah, like low chance, but hey, had to happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that the first time we rolled into it, we got one of the most famous anti-Nazi movies and one of the most hateful Nazi movies in the same year. I mean, it's good for the format.
Yeah, yeah, and again, like as a grounding measure to say like, if someone says they like a propaganda, and this stands contemporarily as well. If somebody says that they like a propaganda film, should you give them the grace of, oh, maybe they just like film and this is hitting something? And the answer is probably not. They are probably susceptible to the propaganda, and you should think about taking them out of your life because they might just be a Nazi.
It's really that kind of vibe,
like you don't need to watch it to like justify it. You don't need to engage with this stuff. We're doing a fucking funny comedy podcast for bullshit reasons. We've watched it because of that. You're probably just living your life. Don't watch the Nazi movie.
It's a lot like, I listen to a lot of music. You listen to a lot of music, right? So I don't really listen to like a lot of metal, but there is a big thing in metal where, National Socialist death metal or NSDM or whatever, Nazi metal. There are people who will be like staunchly, like, I'm not a Nazi, who will be like, oh, but this like Burzum album, really good. And you're like, are you fucking stupid? It's like, Like,
Didn't
no.
that guy love Hitler and murder his roommate and burn down churches?
Yeah, like, it's like, you... For one, okay, I will say, and this, some people might be upset by it, I think if you think that separating the art from the artist is enlightened, you're a moron. Like,
It's
you are...
impossible, and like it
Yeah.
shouldn't be something you're trying to do. And like you can look at something and say it's unfortunate that a bad person made this because it is good, but ultimately a bad person did make it, and you can still enjoy it. But you need to be aware when watching it that like fucked up people also make things that are kind of cool sometimes.
Well, that's the other one, right? If it's good, it must have been by a good person. If it's bad, it's by a bad person.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly
that thing
right.
is always a bit sketchy because that's just the beauty aesthetic, but applied to like output. And
Yeah.
it's that one always bothers me. You know, when people see something where, you know, like, let's say like Neil Gaiman, where all the shit about him came out, and be like, "Oh,
Mm.
I was always a bit funny on his books." You're like, "No, that's not. That doesn't
It's like no,
mean
you weren't.
anything."
Like everyone loved him until
Yeah,
we learned he was a horrible fucking.
yeah. And
And like
Rowling's the
I've
same.
still got his books in my fucking bookcase, and like I don't want to read them ever again. But like I've got memories of fucking reading Ocean at the End of the Lane. Like that shit touched me. And I'm like, what do I do with that now?
Yeah,
You know?
it's things like that. I mean, like Harry Potter's the other big one, right? Because I mean, especially for me. So when I was a kid, could not get into the Harry Potter books. Just didn't like them. Thought they were shit. They are shit. They're bad. You're an idiot if you like them. But that isn't evidence that Rowling was going to be as like vile a person that she turned out to be.
Yeah.
Right. Part of a lot of the writing in the books is a result of her completely myopic worldview. But your 10-year-old self that didn't like the books didn't dislike the books because she is presenting like the most evil form of neoliberalism, right? Like that's not. You probably just couldn't get into them because they were really long. Like that was my issue.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, it's that kind of thing, right? You can't just say a Nazi made this, therefore it's bad. On the other hand, you shouldn't be like, oh, a Nazi made this, but I should give it a fair shake.
Yeah. It's perfectly okay to cut something out, and if it is good, like oh well, you missed a good movie made by someone atrocious.
Yeah, it's also like, what are you trying to achieve with it? Like, do you want to tell people that you enjoyed the thing by the Nazi? Like, what are you actually looking
Yeah.
for when you're separating the art from the artist?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's plenty of good
Again, it
stuff
puts
out
me in a
there.
weird spot to think about, where like if someone ever asks me, "Have you ever watched a Nazi propaganda film?" I now have to say like yes, and
You
here's
can lie.
why. Yeah, try and be honest about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would tell them why.
Also,
You know,
there is recorded evidence of me having done so. Probably shouldn't lie about
and
that.
that
Might
would
get
give the
found out.
context for why you lied. Have you ever seen Nazi propaganda? No. Well, I listened to an hour-long conversation you had about watching it. It's like, okay, but what did I say about it? Because
Yeah.
let me tell you, it was not a glowing review.
Yeah, but then when we got into 1944 and 43 and 42, and have to keep
Yeah,
justifying all the Nazi propaganda I
yeah,
was
I've seen
watching.
the majority of their output actually.
And let me tell
Well,
you, some are better than others.
yeah, like in my head, I will have a. We're gonna have to put it on the tier list.
And we know where it's going on the tier list. The issue is going to be when we get a second propaganda. Do we just make a separate section for Nazi propaganda and just put them all in the
Yeah,
bottom
I think we
because
do. I think that's
they are equally bad as the other?
well. Anyway, speaking of glowing reviews and tier listing, the last movie, Beetle Time.
Cameraman's Revenge.
Yeah.
I misinformed this last week. I called it a Polish film. It is not. It is Russian. I saw Władysław Sterowitz, and I was like, Polish name. Apparently not. Apparently it's Russian.
Okay.
So this is the best rated film of 1912. It is a stop motion film using real dead bugs in which they cuckold each other and plot each other's downfall, essentially.
Yeah, so I mean, effectively, you have Mr. Beetle and Mrs. Beetle, the two main characters, who are in a rocky relationship, I suppose, might be the best way to describe it. And Mr. Beetle goes to the bar where the only person that understands him in the world is Miss Dragonfly, the dancer.
There you go. But
Really good.
Mr. Grasshopper is flirting with Miss Dragonfly.
That's true. Mr. Grasshopper is a snake. A scoundrel.
Hey, Mr. Grasshopper's the protagonist, dude. He's the one I sympathise the most because he's flirting with the dancer at the establishment, which he probably shouldn't do. But it's 1912, so it's a different time. Then Mr. Beetle worms his way in and literally fucking knocks him to the ground, like suplexes Mr. Grasshopper onto the goddamn floor.
Little did he know, though, that Mr. Grasshopper was a cinematographer.
And this is how it culminates. Records Mr. Beetle's infidelities, and I guess that doesn't really come to an end until the very end of it. But
yeah, that's set
I
up
will
to
say,
be paid off later.
before we're just like summarizing the plot, so obviously people can appreciate animation no matter who you are. For context, I studied animation at university, mainly 2D hand drawn stuff, a bit of stop motion. This is so fucking impressive.
Yeah.
Like, this is the most insane thing I've ever seen because doing stop motion, like the bit that I did was on like a 10 by 10 inch thing. We had little bionicles and we had little Lego pieces you can put to the foot to keep them there, or like blue tack to keep them steady. And like that was still so shaky and so hard to do and like really fucked up. The idea of it being 1912, you're in your own like fucking room or basement, you're getting real dead bugs and somehow making them stand and depict weight, and you've got little props. You've got, I don't know, 15 sets or something for a 12-minute movie. It's insane.
It is, like, it's
And
just
they
as
will
far as the
move
craft
so
goes.
well.
The
This should be essential viewing if you like animation.
Yeah.
No, I'm calling that a full stop. Like, it is really, really impressive, very slapstick, very funny. There is a scene where Mr. Grasshopper gets on a bike that looks like a real person getting on a bike in
Okay,
terms of
that
like
part where he
the
pulls the
motion and the
bike,
movement.
moves the bike around, shimmies it a bit, gets on it, steadies himself.
Yeah.
That's like
And like the bike
Aardman
trails
levels.
behind him, and he's like rolling the camera over his shoulder while he's doing so. And remember, taking a picture takes multiple minutes, and you don't get to see the results until fucking months later.
Yeah, you've got to go and
right? They're
develop
doing
those.
this off the cuff.
It is
Insane.
like, just as a kind of piece of like craft, impeccable. It's so good. Especially because, like, I mean, one of the things with stop motion, like when they're interacting with each other directly, like the fights and like the bugs making out and stuff, it all just
They got
works.
big capitals notes, bug sex.
Yeah, bugs. It is like just obscenely impressive to do all of that, especially with not taxidermied, but like real dead bugs.
Yeah. Because like, imagine how like snappable they are, right? Like a limb comes off. You got to reattach it. Do you have just like multiple boxes of beetles that you're reusing? Because beetles are gonna look different in some way, right? I think it's the same beetle all throughout.
Yeah,
It
I'm
might
pretty
not
sure it's
be.
the same. Like the grasshopper is the same grasshopper, the beetles are the same beetles.
So Mr. Grasshopper films Mr. Beetle's infidelities. While Mr. Beetle is having infidelities, Mrs. Beetle back home gets a messenger boy, gives him a letter to bring to... What other bug was it? Was it another beetle?
Well, it was another grasshopper, wasn't it?
I didn't. I thought
It
it
might have been
was
another
like
beetle.
a beetle.
Oh no, it might have
Whoever,
been.
whichever it
Yeah.
is. Mrs. Beetle sends a hookup text, which is a little postboy with a little hat on, to basically give this artist a letter to be like, Mrs. Beetle needs some good dick. So he goes round, Mrs. Beetle comes home, finds the infidelity, they have an argument, they're like, oh, we'll put it off. What is it, the interlude says, like, Mr. Beetle is a patient man. They go to a movie
Yeah.
together. And the movie is being screened by Mr. Grasshopper, who has the recordings. And I will say, this is a short film, stop motion, which shows a cinema with moving film.
That
What
bit
the
was obscene.
fuck?
I couldn't get my head around the fact that they shot the actual film being played in front of the little bug audience.
So that there is a thing, like most animation programs you have nowadays have a timeline where you can, you get a frame, you move over here, adjust the timing of it. Before then, and I think even before, like this would have been Disney, Pinocchio stuff, what I'm about to talk about would be happening. There's a thing called an X sheet, which is, it's like boxes, it's a big chart, right, where you have 24 boxes for a given second of animation where you chart like this frame needs to be in this motion at this point, which will correlate with this frame at this point, whatever it is. I don't think those existed at this point.
Mm.
So somehow this fucking psycho who made this film understood what time the film on the cinema would have been in real time or in simulated time to show as he's currently filming it, and he would have had tiny bits of film to put on the the tiny fucking cinema, dude. Like, I can't imagine it. It's so much work. For how do you describe to people that you do this in 1912? What the fuck do you say to them?
Well, it's like it really is that thing. It's sort of the imagine pitching this. Like, oh, I've made stop motion must have existed, right? Generally speaking,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it existed by this point.
is this like one of the most advanced at the time? It must be, right? Like, I don't know much about the
I
history of
I
stop
don't have
motion.
a huge cultural context, but I feel like it has to be. Just like even 2D animation at this point, when you see it, was not hugely impressive, right? There was stuff, but when you get into Disney and the 12 Old Men is what they're called, the guys who kind of kicked off the Disney stuff, that is when you start to see really impressive animation.
Yeah.
But up to this, I guess it would have been like Soviet adjacent films, right? Which would be either hand drawn or stop motion, like paper cutout stuff. But that would have been done on a 2D plane primarily.
Yeah, I mean, this being full 3D, and again, the final scene at the actual like cinema for the bugs, that's not going to be something you can just do. And again, like you said, like there's no post processing here. There's no going in and editing the
Mm.
cut. This is just picture after picture after picture. Like I wonder how long this took to make.
Like, well, I know from experience, drawing it 2D with. So for my final film, I drew on paper initially, then put it onto the computer, and drew over it on the computer, composited it on the computer, did the sound, whatever else. To do about 6.5 minutes took me, you know, not the full part of a year, but like it was a year of prep and modules, and then maybe 4 or 5 months of pretty consistent, like daily animating.
Mm.
This is longer than that with no conveniences and in 3D, stop motion, which would it probably takes more time. There's less frames than I would have been doing for my stuff, but still, this might have been like 2 years of work. Honestly, it's a huge endeavor and so impressive.
Well, like you said, I mean, if anyone's actually interested in animation, they should watch it. But I mean, given that it's 12 minutes and available on YouTube, you should just watch it like
You,
now.
you literally have no excuse.
Yeah, like just go look at it. It's really cool. It's really short. Unless you are like you have an extreme like bug phobia, you should check it out.
Yeah,
It's really fun.
lots of bugs. There's
Primarily
one bit I
bugs.
really want to highlight in terms of impressive animation and like working around the medium. So Mr. Beetle comes home. He knocks on the door when Mr. Beetle is getting that good dick, and she doesn't answer, obviously. So we cut to Mr. Beetle, who just like brings his hands up and slams down the door. It fucking
Breaks
collapses,
the door
right?
down.
And think about that from a logistics point of view, because a lot of the motion has been very reserved, right? Pretty realistic is what they're going for. But this door is like standing, next frame it is dropped, is on the floor. And I think about that, I look at it and I think, why would you do it that way when the rest of the film has been so reserved? For one, it's really funny. Like he brings his hands up, he's really angry and just boof, it feels like the loud noise being funny, it feels like that, right? Like big
Yeah.
motion is funny. But also, this door has got to be like an inch tall, can't be that wide because it's a tiny prop. Trying to have it in a way where it would be like, diagonally falling and holding it in place would be really difficult. And a really difficult thing to animate is something rigid falling on the floor because, like, if you drop something, it looks random how it falls, but it isn't.
Yeah.
It's entirely based on physics. So if you get that wrong, it looks really, really, really fucking wrong. So you cut that out entirely and you make it work for the slapstick. It's a really clever navigation of what probably would have been the hardest thing to animate. And when you look at the rest of the film, me saying that sounds like a psychotic thing to say, but
Yeah.
no, I'm genuinely saying like this would have been the hardest thing to animate correctly. Especially because if you fuck it up, sorry dude, you gotta spend another, 500 rubles on film to do it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Also, I mean, you're not going to find out it looks wrong until you composite it, right? Because it's just
Exactly.
pictures
And
until
then what
that
you,
point.
you get like you get another beetle, you remake the door props, because they've probably all been like mulched by like Russian winters. Like I don't know, I am so impressed by this thing. you know, I like it individually, but as someone who has dabbled in this animation stuff, it is crazy impressive.
I mean, it's the kind of thing that you would submit for a dissertation, like at
Yeah,
animation. It's. I mean, it's better than that. I mean, like, he's not exactly some amateur who was just throwing stuff at a wall. It's as good as you're making it out to be.
yeah. And then when all is said and done, and the bugs kind of agree to let everything bygones be bygones, the final slide we have of the film is the home life of the Beatles will be less exciting, we hope. Which is
Yeah,
just
yeah.
such a great
We
little.
hope that their home life will
We
be.
hope.
We got law for
All this
Mr. and Mrs.
cuckolding
Beatle.
shit we can just put off to the side. It's
I mean, it's a
fine.
really good like little cut at just sort of that like upper middle class like living. It's for using animals, a classic, but it's extremely humanizing. It really gives you an idea of what people were like thinking of people at the time.
Yeah,
It's nice. Yeah, I mean, you gotta recommend it.
yeah. Yeah, of the films we've watched so far, it's gonna be my highest recommendation. I loved every goddamn minute of it.
Also, just it's low weight. I mean, it's 12 minutes long. You can go and watch it right after this.
Yeah, so I will say, like, this is not a life-changing movie. I'm not gonna put it next to, like, The Godfather in terms of, oh, this is gonna be, like, the kind of film that redefines how you see film. It's a really impressive slapstick movie featuring bugs.
You
Like,
know,
it's not a life changer, but it is excellent.
when you mentioned about The Godfather, right? Where it's like every like 30-year-old white guy, their dad is like, "You ever seen The
Yeah.
Godfather?" And he's like, "No." Like, all right, we're gonna watch The Godfather. You get home, your dad's like, "You ever seen The Cameraman's Revenge?" And you sit there and watch a 12-minute short about adultery and Beatles. And he's like, "This is the best piece
Hey,
of film ever made."
at least it's not like, oh, son, have you ever seen Juice Us? It's like, oh.
Yeah, that's time to cut ties.
Yeah. Have you seen the Wandering Jew, my son? Oh, you gotta watch that one. It's like, no, Dad, please.
Uh,
Ugh. Okay, well, it's time for Who Said That? This time with a twist.
twist.
Despite us not watching the movies like right away because we both had busy weeks, I didn't have enough time to just grab these on the computer. So I thought, oh, I'll be efficient during my lunch break. I'll grab them on my phone. Searched the movies, found the reviews that we're going to have you guess which one it's from, took a snapshot, neglected to realize that the name of the movie was not included in the snapshot on my phone.
Oh.
So I have a bunch of reviews. I don't have a movie it's for, but I think I know which ones
Incredible.
they are.
So it's kind of like a double blind version of them.
Yes, exactly. I think that there's two that I definitely know because I was like, oh, this is gonna definitely bait someone. But the rest of them, we're gonna figure out together. Actually, I just looked at one now. We know which one this is gonna be from. Anyway, here is the first one by Marlowe. It says, had to watch for a class. I'm just giving 2.5 for the amazing meaning behind the film.
I had to watch for a class.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
For context, for those who don't know about Who Said That, I've gathered 5 reviews from each of the movies, well, randomly picked from the movies we've watched, and Nathan has to guess who said that.
I would think if you're watching for a film, it's going to be The Cameraman's Revenge or The Great Dictator. Gonna go with Cameraman's Revenge.
I believe this one was The Great Dictator, and I thought I'd bait you into making it Juice Us because of 2.5 stars.
No, I think
Tragic.
this is like some student who doesn't really like movies very much.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, what class would they make you watch? Jeez. I'm like, because I did
historical,
like, 20th century history as a couple of modules at uni, and I don't think at any point we were forced to watch Nazi propaganda movies on our own time like that. Now, admittedly, I didn't do this primary
surprised about that.
I did psychology.
Okay, well,
I imagine the other history students did have to do that.
They might
I just
have
went to some
watched
lectures.
a couple.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's an easier one that I can definitely remember just by looking at it. Greg with a question mark. Greg says, "Sussy backer propaganda."
Yeah, okay, I can probably figure out that's the Jewish.
Yeah. really hard fucking selection of films to find good, oh, I'm gonna trick Nathan with this one movies reviews for.
Just Among
Here's
Us.
one though. Among Us. From Lucy. She posted this review in French, but I translated it. She said Donald Trump would love this film.
Great Dictator.
Incorrect.
Incorrect.
Do you want a second try? We've got 4 movies.
American Citizen.
Correct.
There we go. Yeah, I thought.
I don't know why that one.
I think there's something about America and greatness and him not understanding the message. Do you know Trump's like a big theater boy?
I've heard rumblings of this, but I don't know if it's like true.
I wouldn't imagine he's like a clever theater boy. I imagine he really likes, Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. He sits
apparently is
down
big
and
into
like
his theater.
he perceives the theater, but he doesn't watch.
Yeah. He's not going to watch anything like interesting or challenging or just like good for its own merits. He's probably going to watch.
I just mean he doesn't like even get what the story is, right?
Yeah,
it's like light is here, but no one's inside, kind of shit.
Claps when he sees things he recognizes, right?
Yeah. Okay, well, unfortunately, I'm looking at the other ones I gathered, and I have no clue what these movies are for. So let's do a guess question round. I also somehow gathered 6 rather than 5. I don't know what
really
happened
with
this
it
week
on this one.
It was. I think I got to like the first 2. I was like, mate, they are giving me nothing, so I just kind of tuned out for a bit. We've got weird and whimsical in its own very specific way, which I think might have been Cameraman's Revenge.
That feels like Cameraman's
From
Revenge.
Angelica Jade Bastien.
I feel like the whimsy, like it could either be that or The Great Dictator, but I feel like in its own way is very much the Bug movie.
Yeah, and weird as well. Great Dictator, not very weird. I think it's definitely a Bug movie. Electra says, couldn't stand looking at the screen. That's just such a funny way to say it.
The audio was fine though, so it definitely wasn't making an American Citizen.
True. So probably the propaganda film, if we had to guess, which we do have to guess.
I thought you wouldn't leave that review if you were like, oh, I couldn't stand this. Like, why did you watch it?
No stars either. Like, not even a rating. Which
wow.
I think when you don't give it stars, it doesn't like highlight it to your followers that you've watched it. So if you're going to, out of shame, hide that you've watched something, the Nazi film is probably the one.
Maybe. What's the next one?
This one has it's double-barreled, right?
Okay.
Because Clear Crayon says, "OMG, this literally feels like a satire," which my heart would say they're talking about. I was going to say Nazi movie, right? Because it's like, oh, this is a satire of how Nazis think about
I've
Jews.
seen people on the internet talk about Clear's satirical media, and they feel very clever for figuring out that it's satirizing something.
The complication is that it's 3 stars. So, like, that's a very middling review to go, oh, this is... I feel like you'd either give it a high review for being really funny and a satire, or a low review for being a Nazi movie and a satire. Unless you're a Nazi. And you're like, oh, this is a funny parody of a Nazi movie?
Maybe? No, because they get really upset about that stuff.
True. You know what? I'm gonna dox Clear Crayon. I'm gonna look up what other movies. What did I list as their favorite movies? Let's see. Clear Crayon has as their favorite movies. Okay, recent activity.
Just all Nazi propaganda.
No, they seem based.
Oh, okay.
They seem based. They're calling out a. There's a Black Panthers movie directed by a white lady, and they're calling that out. They've got a content warning for homophobic slurs in a movie that they reviewed. They're probably cool. They're all right. You're probably cool, Clear Crayon.
Yeah, they're probably fine.
Yeah.
Probably not the Nazi propaganda movie then, I had to guess.
I did. Looking at the other 2 reviews immediately available to me, I don't think they would give a Nazi movie 3 stars. So let's fingers crossed on that one, shall we?
They really separated the art from the artists on that one.
Okay, well, that was Who Said That. To answer Who Said That, we don't really know. It's an enigma. I'll do that next week.
Movies that end like ambiguously and people get really annoyed because they don't understand. Like, we've just done that to people. You're never gonna know.
To myself.
Yeah. I like that kind of,
number 4.
that unresolved tension, but I think a lot of people don't.
I think at number 4, I realized I don't know what movies these are, but something in my brain was like, "Don't worry about it. You'll remember. Don't take any notes.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
be fine." Our tier list for this week. Judsus, we're putting in bottom of trash.
Yeah,
For next
Nazi
week,
tier.
I'll make a section called Nazi garbage. We'll put it down there.
Can't wait to put something in there
Making
that
of an
isn't
American.
clear-cut Nazi propaganda. And people get...
Just stick the Godfather 2 in there. Making of an American. I don't know if I'd actually call it interesting. I don't know if it's too interesting to call
genuinely fine.
Yeah?
I think it's actually the best of the bad movies so far, just because it's almost, there's not enough to it for it to be awful, and it was, I laughed, fully at the fully
that
Americanized.
Is true,
that was a genuinely great joke.
Do you know the movie critic Mark Kermode? He's a English guy who used to do BBC stuff.
Yeah, Mark Kermode, yeah.
He's got a rule for comedies, which he calls the 6 laugh rule, which if he gets 6 genuine laughs out of a comedy, is a good comedy. And proportionally, this is up there, right? I think I had 2 laughs in the 15 minutes, so it's doing pretty well.
Yeah. I would not rewatch it just randomly, but if someone said, have you seen this? I'm like, oh, yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, not a bad time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think, it's fine. It's comfortable with that. The Great Dictator. I feel like your opinion here is going to be more immediately relevant because I was...
So I would put it...
Very quickly, I kind of tuned out.
I would genuinely gold star it. I know because I recommended it to 2 of our friends, just off the cuff.
We were talking about... Yesterday, we were talking to mutual friends, and you mentioned it. And I was like, oh, I shouldn't say anything because I didn't like it as much as you did.
That's good, though. That's good. Because I would say gold star. I will rewatch that at some point. Probably soon. I just enjoyed it a lot. I think it was very good.
Okay. I'd be comfortable putting it in a below the Godfather God star or a it's good. I feel like I'm more.
I think it's good. I think that
it is very good.
Yeah, I think it's good fits for our mutual understanding of the movie.
Yeah, and then Cameraman's Revenge. I would probably put in it's good just above Old Dictator.
I'm surprised you weren't moving it to bangers for the animation.
Again, my clarifying point is it is a 12-minute moderately kooky slapstick movie that's kind of about nothing.
Yeah, I suppose it's more
animation-wise. It's not a life changer.
Educationally, definitely a must-watch. As a movie, it's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. I think I mentioned this when we made the tier list. Bangers is, I know from movies that I've watched before what I would put in bangers. They give me a very strong emotional response. This made me laugh and go oh, that's really impressive.
Yeah, I guess bangers are the movies where I must immediately go and recommend them to people. Or if someone says I haven't seen this, should I watch it? It's yeah, that's the next movie you should see.
Yeah.
Currently in my head, bangers, we have There Will Be Blood, and then my personal choices of Alien. Right? It's not a lot of it's not too much stuff there.
That's the thing. I don't want to dilute the pool too much just by putting in something that I very much enjoyed. I've got to get a real emotional response.
Based on the tier list, so right now the podcast is banger and trash.
Yeah. It's a lot harder to make something good.
I think banger is definitely reserved for the real high points.
Yeah.
Not to say The Godfather isn't a real high point.
The Godfather is a high point, but we're talking a double.
Yeah.
Still waiting for that Too Interesting to Call Bad. Can't wait to get something in there.
There's going to be something... I imagine the older bad movies... even with this, right? I think older bad movies, provided they're not outright fascist propaganda...
Yes.
Are likely going to skew slightly higher because it's almost they can't... Well, they definitely can be offensively bad in the way that, say... an Adam Sandler comedy from the early 2000s can be. But they're not as likely to be, I don't think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, well, let's Pop open the wheel.
Spin the wheel. It's becoming more and more
wait.
legible by the week.
Let's spin that wheel. Oh, okay. We're gonna have another multi-watch probably. It's 1884. Let's see what that is. That's very early on.
It's gonna be like 35 seconds long.
It won't be long at all. That's for true. 1884. Doesn't have any films. There are no films released.
Why did you put this
1884?
in? Why is this in the ring?
All right, spin it again.
I'm kind of hoping for like 50s forward.
Oh, it's another 1880, 1890.
We gotta get rid of the 1800s, dude.
Well, we're chopping through it. 1890. Let's see.
Oh,
we have movies. Most popular, which we may not be watching, is...
You always gaslight me.
Monkey Shine's #1. Ooh, okay.
Interesting.
Lowest rated is... Monkey Shine's #3. I'm seeing a trend here.
They were pretty prolific with the Monkey Shines.
Highest rated is Monkey Shine's #1. It is 2.82. Experimental film made to test the original cylinder format of the kinetoscope and believed to be the first film shot in the United States. It shows a blurry figure standing in one place, making large gestures, and it's only a few seconds long. Monkey Shine's #3.
I imagine it's very similar.
Yeah. Lost film? What the fuck? Okay, well, if we can't find Monkey Shine's #3, we'll watch Monkey Shine's #2.
The sequel's always worse.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to spin again to see what we can...
the publisher was like, we made a lot of money on Monkey Shine's 1. Do it again.
We're going to spin again to get another longer film. If we get another like short film, like 18 whatever, we will just skip out entirely. We want to get like a proper length one.
Well, I did say I want something further than the 1950s.
1951 though, average rating... Which is okay. We're actually on. Oh, let's go into most popular first, just so we have context. Where is that?
This context always throws me off. I'm going to watch the wrong movie one of these times.
Is Alice in Wonderland? See, this is why, like, because if you're watching most popular, I've seen Alice in Wonderland. I got nothing really to say about it, probably.
Yeah.
But highest rated is Ace in the Hole. I don't know if I've seen Ace in the Hole.
Right now.
And lowest rated is Lost Continent. Oh no.
Oh, it's going to be Colonial.
When an experimental atomic rocket crashes somewhere off radar, its 3 developing scientists are joined by 3 Air Force men in tracking it down to a small Pacific island where it apparently has landed on the plateau of the island's steep walled taboo mountain. It's King Kong, it's Godzilla.
Yeah, I'm seeing a big dinosaur on the poster, so I'm in.
Yeah. Multiple big dinosaurs and a guy with a gun.
Man, the old movie posters fucking slap.
And maybe this one's good. This one's okay.
I think the bad movies in the older ones have incredible posters because they're all like stupid monster movies.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Like I would love those as just actual posters in my house.
So Ace in the Hole is 111 minutes. Rough, tough Chuck Tatum, who battered his way to the top, trampling everything in his path, men, women, and morals. An arrogant reporter exploits a story about a man trapped in a cave to revitalize his career.
He battered women.
I'm interested. Huh.
And how long was he trapped in the cave?
That's a good question. Did Internet Historian make a video on him? If I make a video, I mean steal someone else's work. Yeah.
Go watch the Jacob Geller video about caves, it's better.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's our movies for next week. We have Monkey Shines, numbers 1 through potentially 3, depending on if we can find it. We have Ace in the Hole, and we have Lost Continent.
I'm looking forward to Lost Continent. That looks exactly my kind of dog shit, awful movie.
I think it's just going to be slightly racist King Kong ripoff. And I hope it's more than that, but I don't think it's going to be.
See, when did King Kong come out?
That's a great question. Let's see. King Kong. King Kong was 1933, and Godzilla... Yeah.
Took a while. Peter Jackson really had the original idea.
So King Kong 1933, Godzilla was 1954. So this is definitely more King Kong than it is Godzilla.
Godzilla's post-war, right? like big post-war. I
Yeah.
mean, 1950 is post-war. But...
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, 51 is
Yeah.
I suppose. Okay, well, put them on the docket, and we'll watch them for next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully, less Nazi stuff. Can't
Yeah.
guarantee we're still in the danger zone. We're
This
pretty
time I
close to
can
it, but
at least more safely recommend you do watch both movies before you listen to the next one. But
yeah,
again, if it is like Nazi shit, feel free to not watch it. It probably isn't though.
yeah. I mean, we might end up putting it in the Nazi movie category, even without it being explicitly Nazi stuff. We'll have to find out. See what get the temperature.
Depends if the island has natives or not.
Yeah. Oh fuck! They're gonna have natives. Oh no.
Oh no.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time then for I don't know. Who
Less
knows what?
Nazis.
It's the 50s. It's
Hopefully.
about time.
Yeah.
Less Nazis. Fingers crossed. Can't promise anything.
Well, enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. See you then.
Bye.